Okay, hello guys, can you hear me? If my voice and my image is normal, please tell me in the chat box. Okay, guys, we're gonna start at exactly 7:30. Okay, all right. So this is the little briefing about the exam analysis and tips of SASMO. So I want to ask a question before we get it started. So which grade is your kid in right now? And have you registered for SASMO already? If you have some answers, you can just tell me in chat box. If your child is in P1, just type a 1 in the chat box. All right. Okay, so I'll be waiting for more answers, but let's just get it started. So before we get into the specific topics, so we're gonna give you a little introduction about myself. All right, so actually you can just call me Teacher Nanson, and I used to be the head of high school education at Shurzhi in China, and I used to serve as the head of middle school at the Think Academy Canada. So I was in Singapore last year, and I'm responsible for the competition coach for P2 to P4 elite classes at Think Academy Singapore right now. So actually had a lot of excellent students who have achieved 80%, like all of them can achieve gold medals in SASMO. All right, so if you want to achieve gold in SASMO or just ignite the fire of learning math for your child, maybe you can just get a lot of information from this lecture. All right, so firstly, the content here today will be covering these 4 topics. Firstly, that the reason why we joined SASMO and the characteristics about the SASMO, this kind of contest, and how do we help you guys to prepare for the SASMO within the last 1 month. And at the last, you can feel free to raise up any questions in the chat box. All right, so you can see some answers for P2, P3. Oh, so this lecture is super suitable for the P2 and P3 students. All right, because it involves some real strategies in answering the questions often tested in SASMO. All right. So firstly, the basic information about SASMO. The full name is called Singapore Asian Schools Math Olympiad, and it has been held throughout 38 countries and territories, and over 350,000 contestants were absorbed into this contest. So it is the saying from its official website that it is suitable for all students. So we have harder contests in P5 and P6, right? Like NMOs, like RMO, like SMOPs. So actually for lower primary school students, it will just be more like convenient or not that hard to take part in these contests like SASMO, all right? So it's suitable for all students. And this contest is designed in a way to make every student love math again. So actually, you just want to get more enthusiasm for math from students, all right? So one more thing, SASMO is also good for the preparation for the PSLE and O-level exams. So because the SASMO covers from not only lower primary, but from P1 all the way to P12. But actually, we just focus on more about P1 to P3 because actually, you know, we have the three toughest competitions in P5 and P6. So actually, you can take try SASMO from P1 all the way even to P4. But if you're a P5 already, we would just suggest you to take part more in the other three contests instead of SASMO because actually SASMO wouldn't do too much help for your DSE application. All right, so that's the basics information about SASMO. And the date for the contest is not settled. So the schools, if you're registered through school, the schools can hold the competition from 7th March to 12th April. You can just choose one day to host this competition. But actually, they would just usually be the end of March, like March the 31st. All right. And if you haven't registered yet, please make sure you can go through the private candidate registration before March the 16th. So today is just 12th, 13th. Yeah, so you have like 2 or 3 days left. Okay, so you can just register on the SMCC official website. So if you don't know how to do that, you get the stream video link from one of our SASMO preparation groups. You can just go ask the assistant. All right. And actually, the real thing is you have to know is about the format of this contest, which is a 90 minutes contest. So you need to answer 25 questions within 90 minutes, 1.5 hours. And we have 15 MCQ questions. It means that there are 5 choices for each of this question, A, B, C, D, E, and only one of the options are right, okay? And for question 16 to question 25, they're all open-ended questions. You just need to fill in one answer, which is an integer, a natural number for sure. But I have filled that in a 4-digit number form because if, for example, if this number, your answer, if the answer is 30, you have to input a 0030 into the answer sheet. I'm going to show the answer sheet later. But this is something I think your kid needs to know before he or she takes part in this test. All right? Okay, so it's all paper-based for Singaporean students, and you have to fill out in the answer sheet, as I just mentioned. And the marks allocation is, and it all starts with 15 points. Why? Because they have a deduction system. The full score, or the highest score, is 85 points. And for section A, with this 15 MCQ questions, if you get one of the questions right, you have 2 points. But if you get it wrong, you'll be deducted for 1 point. Okay, so that's why we have to start with 15 points because rather than you're going to have like minus points, right? Like negative points. Okay, so for section B, we have 10 more open-ended questions with 4 points each. So you don't have to worry about the deduction system. The deduction system only works for the section A. All right, so 0 marks will be awarded for unanswered questions. So here actually I do have one question to ask you guys, especially if there are students in front of the screen. So imagine if there is a problem with A, B, C, D, E, and you have totally no idea which one is the right option. So will you just choose an answer randomly or just leave it blank? Okay, just tell me, do you want to pick one or you just leave it blank? And you try to answer me in the chat box. So we're trying to make a best strategy right now. What's the best choice? What is the best choice? So from the perspective of probability, we're learning math, right? So if you just choose a random answer that you have no idea, the probability you get this right will just be 1/5, right? So from the perspective expectation, you have 1/5 to get 2 points. Right? Okay. I just noticed somebody give me the answer, leave it a blank. That's a good choice. But, hey guys, do you know what is the probability for getting this question totally wrong? By guessing. By totally guessing. You have 1/5 chance. That means you're going to have 4/5 chance to get it wrong, right? And you know, you have 4/5 chance to be deducted for 1 point. So you see, this is the expectation. You're going to be 2/5 minus 4/5. You know, this is going to be a smaller number minus a bigger number. It's going to be negative. So that means if you have no idea about the options at all, don't try to guess it. Just leave it blank. Understand? You just leave it blank. But there's another situation, guys. Like, I already know that I can exclude C or D or E for sure. I know the answer must be one of A or B. So in this situation, do we have to like guess or try to leave it blank? Same question, right? If this is 50-50 chance, you better just, you know, this 100%, you will know you have 50% chance to get it right. That means you have half chance to make 2 points. And then you have half chance to be deducted for 1 more point. And you know, this is gonna be a positive number. So in this situation, I suggest you just take a risk. You guess one answer between A or B. It worth a try. All right, it worth a try. So what is the like basic midpoint between guessing and leaving it blank? So this is one of the like testing techniques that you won't learn from anywhere else, right? Specifically. So you just tell your children, or even if this is just a P1 kid, a P2 kid, seems innocent at all. You just tell this kid, if you have totally no idea about 5 answers, just leave it blank. But if you can choose 1 out of 2, try pick 1. Okay? Because actually, if you have 3 options to make a decision, the expectation of guessing and you're choosing 1 answer is the same. Okay? The difference between choosing 1 answer and you just leave in the blank is the same. So actually, you just make your choice that you pick 1 out of 2, you can pick an answer. Otherwise, you just all leave it blank. This is one of the, you know, the scoring strategy. Okay? So guys, I'm not sure if I explained this clearly. So if you understand what I'm talking about, please just tick a 1 in the chat box, all right? So that's about whether we should guess or leave blank when we are doing the Section 8 questions. Okay? All right, so that's it for the basic system and information about SASMO tests. And actually, I think you guys do care more about the awards, okay? The awards. All right, so for the awards for SASMO are given to the top 40% students. Okay, so we have 4 different categories for the awards. But firstly, we can have perfect scorers. So if you get perfect score, easy to understand, right? You get 85 points. You will get an award, which you can show you the name on the top list, and you will get a SGD $100 Singapore dollars voucher. All right, and for the second category, if you get a gold, if you reach top 8%, you can get gold. So the gold score is around 60 points. Remember what is your total score again? Guys, if you know the total score, please type the total score in the chat box. Let me know if you are catching up or not. What is the total score of SASMO? The total score of SASMO is 85. Yes, so if you can achieve 60 points, I know some of you guys are trying to take part in our SASMO mock test recently, right? So if you get a score, you need to evaluate whether the score is good or not. Can I just get a gold award or not? You can try to compare your score to 60 points. So if you can get around 18 to 19 correct answers also, you can get, you have a chance to get a gold award based on our study of the analysis out of the historical statistics. Okay, I saw one wrong answer from, I don't know who this is, but you said 100? You're totally not listening carefully, just like students, right? The total score is 85. Okay, it's 85, not 100, please. All right, so for the next 12%, we're gonna have a silver award. So it's next 12%, not top 12%. So 8% plus 12% will give you already 20%, right? So actually, if you're gonna achieve top 20%, like from top 8% to top 20%, if you're in this range of this 12% of the whole, you can get a silver award. So for silver, maybe you can just score out of like 50 out of 85 or above. Maybe you can just get 15 to 18 questions right out of 25 questions. So you can have a chance to get a silver. And similarly for the bronze, it's going to be next 20%. So they will be top 20% to top 40%. And if you can score 40 points and above, maybe just like 10 to 15 correct answers, you have a chance to get a bronze. All right. But actually, today's lecture is mostly more about how to get a gold or even perfect scores, because I am at the position of the Think Academy elite coach. So I already get a bunch of gold medalists. So they already have the ability in achieving a goal already. So maybe I will set higher goals for them. All right. Okay. So actually the remaining participants will receive certificates of honorable mention for the next 10%. So you're going to be having the whole half, the whole 50%, top 50% will all get a specific award, and you know, the lower half will just get a participation. All right. So that's it for the award information of SASMO. And actually, we do just get deeper into the statistics of the 2024 SASMO paper. So actually, we don't have P1 SASMO, this contest, back in even 3 years ago. This P1 was started only in 2023. It means that we used to have SASMO just only begins from 2020, from P2. Okay, but now we have 2 years already for the P1 SASMO. So I don't know if there are any P1 parent here. So if there is P1 kid, please just type something, let me know, all right? Because this lecture is mostly about P2 and P3. But if you are taking P1, I can still give you some suggestions, all right? For P1 gold, we used to have 27 gold medalists for last year. Only 27 out of 338 participants. And we have 67 gold medalists from P2, and P2 has 838 participants in whole Singapore, only in Singapore, all right? Since it's called an Asian event, but actually we do just care about the numbers from Singapore, all right? And we have 125 gold medalists from P3, so you see P3 definitely had more people, like more participants. So we have more gold medalists. So if you are in P3 right now, so just can you value yourself as, am I in top around like 150 throughout the whole island? If you can get a gold, that means, yeah, I am in the top 150. So should I move on to study Olympiad math or not? You can make a decision after, based on the result of SASMO. All right. Oh, I see. I can see one P1 kid. So have you registered P1 SASMO this year? You can give it a try and try to use some help from Think Academy. All right. So let's move on to, this is something that you have to really pay attention to. This is the answer sheet of SASMO. So I just want to ask a question. Do you have confidence in telling a kid to fill in this answer sheet perfectly? Do they even know how to shade answers in an answer sheet like this? I guess there always be some children that haven't experienced this kind of thing before for the whole life, for now, right? So you need to know that you have to write your name correctly, your school name correctly, your index number here, and you got to shade that. Imagine, for example, if the first digit is 1, you have to tell your kid to shade it black, for short here, right? And for the multi-choice answer, you see we have 5 choices each. You're going to pick one of them. This is easy, but for the fill in the blank questions, yeah, they never had exam before. Exactly. So, you see, I just told you before, if the answer for this question is only something like 16, you cannot just put 16 here. You need to add 2 more zeros here. And then not only like this, you gotta shade this 0 and 0, and you're gonna shade this 1, and you can tell a kid to shade this 6 as well. I know it's not that quite natural for a P1 or even P2 kid to fill in, to complete an answer sheet like this, but we cannot complain because this is just the official thing, right? So the only thing we can help is we have an offline SASMO mock before the real SASMO. So you can try to register that, and we will give the kids the real SASMO answer sheet to at least get them a try before the real one. Okay? So I think it will do help to them. All right, so that's it for the answer sheets. And this is something not that important, but maybe it will be helpful for some of the parents, because for the next stage contest of SASMO, if you can achieve the top 40%, like you can get the, you at least get one of the medals, you will be probably invited to participate in a contest called CMOC, and you can really like represent the Singapore to like get medals. Or if you are gold or silver award, you can be invited to another contest called IJMO, but harder ones. But these two competitions are not that popular, I gotta say. All right. Okay, so I think we finished the first part. So let's do a little summary about it. Why do we need to join SASMO? The first reason I can think is I think it's one kind of assessment of cognitive. Like you have been learning for Math Olympiad for quite a long time and don't know like should I move on? Should I keep going for my kiddo? Just like cancel it right now. So you can give you an island-wide ranking. You can see that on the website. So you're gonna know like it's gonna be a little bit cruel, but you can see the ranking. Okay? And for the second reason, it serves as the competitions. You can serve as the competitions as formative assessment, right? Because you were been learning for a long time, and competition is just like a time point, a thing that can value your children. Okay, so that's the second effect. And for the third one, you can stimulate and encourage learning interest and motivation. Because hey, for lower primary kid, the kid is too small, right? So if he or she is interested in something, do you think it's all due to the natural beauty of this subject, of that thing? Like a P1 kid, an 8-year-old kid would just come to you and say, math is too beautiful? Do you think it's even possible? I think the talents will say something like that when they are in a very young age, right? But if this is just a normal 8-year-old kid, he won't find the real beauty out of math. But the only reason he or she will be interested in learning math and still want to like keep it up is only because he or she is good at it. He or she can get fulfilled or get pleasant, and can feel like fulfilled all along the journey in learning math. That's the only reason. Like he can get gold in SASMO, he feels happy, simple as that. All right? So that's how we say this one kind of interest and a motivation effect. All right, and the last reason I want to say is it can be the foundation for future competitions in upper primary level, because does anyone here learn something like know something like NMOS or RMO or SMOPS before? If there is one, just like text anything. Okay, so actually those competitions are useful for the DSA application of the best high schools. So SASMO is one of the competitions that's really similar. It's not that hard for sure, but it's quite similar. No matter the format or the scoring system or the types of questions, they're all pretty similar to the real ones. So why not just use SASMO to like give it a try, all right? Okay, so that's it for the first part, I think, and we're gonna move on to the real exam syllabus from P1 to P3, all right? So if you want to really achieve a gold or something else, I really suggest you have to use this book. Guys, parents, can you see this book on the screen? And if you have this book in your hands, please tell me in the chat box, right? This is a book called All-in-One Guide, Lower Primary Math Competition, GP Math, All-in-One Guide. So if you want to prepare for SASMO, for SMKC, like the Concru contest, or even the GEP, so never mind, this is the last year of GEP though, but you can just all use this book, because actually we don't have too many contents in the lower primary stage, right? Not too many competitions. So actually we can just like highlight all the common, often tested topics inside of this book. So I will just use the topics in this book to show you what are the often tested types of questions in SASMO, all right? So first part is about tips and tricks in calculation. So you see, this is the first question for 2024 SASMO. You just need to do a little simple addition with the help of friends, good friends pairs, all right? Good friend pairs. And then if you move on to D2, it will be a little harder. You need to know a little bit about factorization. Like you need to know how to factorize 32 into 8 times 4. You need to know how to factor out 75 into 25 times 3. And you need to know 4 and 25, they are good friend pairs in multiplication. And to ease this competition, to ease this problem, all right? And if you move on to P3, you see still addition, but more numbers. You need to use the where, has, and close theorem, right? Like you just separate the 10th digit out and the units digit together, okay? And for this one, this is a P4, but I know some students would just like try to take P4 contest when you're still in P2 or P3. You just like skip one of the grades. It's super natural in SASMO contest, all right? So if you want to find the product of these 4 numbers, you still need to know factorization, right? Because you need to know 64 can give you an 8 and another 8. We can move one of the 8 to multiply with its 125 and get a bigger number. So you see the same topic, the problem under the same topic in different grades are pretty similar, right? Just like one more grade, the grade level is higher. The question is just a little harder, but still under the same type. So this is the feature for SASMO. Okay, so topic 1, tip and tricks and calculation must be tested. I can show you the previous ones, but you know, the SASMO 2024 test is unique one because they always say, they all say that the 2024 one is extremely harder than the previous ones. So you can just use the previous ones as a reference, but you don't have to try more historical papers. Just focus on the difficulty of 2024. All right, so you see questions like this, and this is for P2 about the symbols, and this is P2 whole number operations like this, level 2. And for this one, this is P3. You can just check the type of questions, quite similar. So you have to know how to understand the calculation part. Okay, make sure these points are gotten for sure. Topic 1. And topic 2 is about number and figure patterns. Like try to find a pattern of a series of numbers. For example, like the first one, 20, 19, 17, 14, 10 is decreasing by -1, -2, -3, -4. You can find this pattern, right? So you see grade 1 student needs to know this. And similarly for grade 2, quite similar. And for grade 3, same. But the gap will just be about multiplication, right? So number pattern problems, you need to know how to do them. All right, so these are the basic types from previous ones. This P2 and P3, you see? Number pattern, all right? Any sample question for P1, you can just go through this. I will show you if there's a P1 question. Because you see for the first topic and second topic, they all have the sample questions, okay? All right, but mostly they'll be tested in P2 and P3. So this is called figure pattern. Like you're gonna find the odd one, like after you observe the previous pattern for the previous rows, you're gonna find, hey, what's the figure look like this? Yeah, you have to know this. And for the third topic is about fraction, but actually if you are all P1 to P3 students, you don't have to care much about this part, okay? Fractions won't be tested until P4, so you can skip it. And for topic 4, the comparison and replacement problem, so for the P1 pattern, you can see that this is a P1 sample question. You need to know that like if this is a koala times this owl plus this bull equals 41 and blah, blah, blah. It's just like solving equations, but in a figure way, all right? You need to know how to do this. As you can see, it's exactly the same question between grade 1 and grade 2 for the first 2 questions, and it will be a little harder for grade 3, but you still see the same type, right? They're all in the same type, okay? And for previous ones, they all try to use figures or the balance things to solve for equations with the help of comparison and replacement. So you have to prepare for this part. All right, and this is topic 5, and this is something that the kids used to learn at school quite often, mastering models, which try to use the, the bars, to draw bars to figure out word problems like this. So they are just like actually sum and difference and multiple problems, but all can be perfectly solved by models. Okay, so you can see this is a P1 thing, and this is a P2, P3, P4. They all have this kind of problems. The only difference is maybe you see for P4 question we have 3 people, right? But for P1 there are only 2 pencil cases. Just the number of variables thing. Okay, so you need to know how to figure out word problems like this. Some different multiples word problems. This is P2 examples, and this is P3 examples. Okay, and don't worry, guys. You don't have to like do any screenshots, anything. But we have playback, and we can provide our files for this PowerPoint into PDF version directly sent into the group chat. So you don't have to do anything. You just need to listen, right? You can just try to gather the questions after the whole string. So topic 6, one of the important things, age problems. It's a must-tested type. Normally, I would say that because it was tested many times, and you see it is tested just last year, right? Even P1 has age problem, P2 has age problem, and P4 has age problem. So you can just take this age problem as a must-prepare type. Okay, you can see the previous questions for P2, and this is another topic. It's called access and shortage problem. But for this one, you see it's only suitable for P4. So for P1 to P3, you can just like, kind of ignore it. It's not that important if you don't have the time to just like cover all the book. Okay, you can just like skip topic 7 for now temporarily. And for topic 8, you see this is not that many testing in SASMO, but mostly in GEP. Okay, the cyclic problem. Like you have to find a pattern and to try to find what's the period of this t and use division to find the remainder, something like that. This is topic 8. But for topic 9, this is a must, guys. Time and calendar problems, especially calendar. So you see for grade 1, you have to know questions like how many days are there in a month that begins on Monday and ends on Wednesday. So the children need to have a basic understanding about how many days are there in each of the months, and how many weeks are there, and if I know the first day of the month, how can I get the day of the last day of this month? He needs to have the ability for questions like this, right? Okay, they're basically not the same type, but this is a must. So you can check the previous questions, time and calendar problem, especially calendar problems. And this is called time problem, but not that often tested than the calendar problem. So calendar problem is a big thing, okay? It's a big thing to notice. And for topic 10, this is about perimeter and area. All right, so you see for, especially for grade 3, so P1 and P2 parents don't need to worry too much about this. It's pretty special thing about P3. So from P3, you need to know how to figure out the complex perimeter problems and area problems. You need to know the area formula and perimeter formula for some common figures like rectangles, squares, or triangles, something like that. All right. And this is the previous examples. You can see that you can use grids, use the fractions to get this done. Okay, like how much of this shaded part will take up the whole area of the square? You need to know that. Like maybe 1 out of 4, 2 out of 3, something like that. And for topic 11, this is a thing. This is a topic that is pretty hard about counting. You need to know the addition and multiplication principles. Like you need to know questions like how many 3-digit numbers have only even digits. Guys, this question, you would say this is actually pretty hard for a P1 kid to listen, to understand. All right? And if you move on to further higher grades, you have to know more advanced knowledge about how to do the counting. You need to know not only addition but also multiplication, because you cannot do enumeration for every question. Right? Okay, and okay, finally, this is a bomb. This is gonna be a bomb, guys. Topic 12 in this book. You have to run through this topic, counting 2D figures. It must be tested for sure, 100%. So you see, this is a P1 question. For this P1 question, how many triangles are there in this figure? It's not that easy to count, guys, because you see, this is a triangle, but this is an even bigger one, right? And for P2, for this one, you see the figure is even a little bit more, complex, because there's only one wing here, and again 2 wings, and for this one, just like more lines. You see, these three questions are totally the same type, but different difficulty because definitely G3 has more triangles. Somebody said easy, but you can give it a try. What is the answer for this question? 19. You see, 19. This is not 1 to 15. This is not multiple choice anymore. They raise up the difficulty by changing this question into filling the blank. So you have to get exactly the right number, right? You see, the difficulty here is you can even combine two triangles to get a bigger one. So you have to practice specifically about this kind, all right? And that's the previous question. You see, this is not that easy as you think, right? You know tricks, you know the methods. And one more type is about counting the 3D figures, like how many cubes are there. So the basic strategy you must grasp is like you try to use the layers by layers strategy, or you can use the top view as the base to label the number of cubes on top of it. You gotta prepare for this kind of question. And the next topic is also a hard topic. It is also a hard topic about logic reasoning. And actually, I couldn't imagine the 2024 SASMO even test a question 14 like this. You have to set 3 people around a circular table, and you have to understand from a circular perspective, what's the definition of left and right. You need a little bit 3D imagination. This is hard, okay? So the logic reasoning part is really hard. No matter from G1, G2, all the way to G3, okay? You have to prepare for some logic reasoning problems, all right? Topic 13. And let's move on to topic 14, addition and subtraction number puzzles. So you can check the number. Question number 25, question number 24, question number 25. So in 2024, they all put the number puzzle question at the very back, the last question of the whole SASMO. Okay, so yeah, they have to know the numbers relations under the letters. You need to understand all the different letters represent different digits. You can use a little bit exclusion and the basic types like what happens to a plus a equals to a. They can be or 999 was a carryover or something like that. They have to have some previous Olympia learning to know this. Okay, so addition and subtraction number puzzles are something that you have to prepare for. All right, so you see the previous questions like this, like this, like this, right? Addition, and you can transfer subtraction into addition. You have to know that. And last topic, yeah, yes, it's getting harder and harder. You see, this is a grade 1 competition, and you need to know the sum of digits of an odd third digit number is 9. What is the largest possible such third digit number? They have to have the idea about what is the largest. It's not only one answer, but you need to find the largest one. It's pretty high standard, right? And for another grade 1 student question, you see, you have to judge what is this number based on the different statements here. Kind of hard. And for G2, you need to know the divisibility rule of 2 and 5, because 2 and 5 they all follow the tail rule. And you see, you have to know the divisibility rule of 3, which follows the sum rule, right? This is a P2 standard, and for P3 standard, it's even more complex because you need to know the divisibility rule of 6, but you know it can be just like factor out into 2 times 3. But for this one, is kind of like too advanced. For a P3 student, you need to know the divisibility rule of 11. Oh, 11. I bet not everybody here knows the divisibility rule of 11. Does anyone know it? You try to tell me if you know it, just type anything, let me know. This is kind of advanced. Because if you can know the divisibility rule of 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 8 or 9, that's pretty enough. But you see, this one needs you to grasp the strategy of 11. Right? The sum of the odd number digits is equal to the sum of the even number digits. That's really quite standard. Okay? So for this number theory part, you need to prepare this until this kind of level. Maybe you need to also know the divisibility rule of 11. All right, so you see these previous questions about the number theory part for P2 and P3. Okay, you can go take a look later. I just want to show you this shows a pattern. It's divisibility by 3, right? Okay, so we're gonna go back to this topic, this book, and you can see the topics I asked you guys to go through based on different grades. For P1, you can try to finish these topics, and for P2, a little more. And actually, the P3 student, I have set a higher standard. You're gonna finish the whole book. You better finish the whole book. Okay? You get started now. And actually, the book is not only about questions. It's not a notebook. It's not a practice book. We begin with exam analysis. You can check the previous stats. And we have guided examples to show you exactly the way, how do we do this kind of questions. All right? And then, if you think the questions or examples are pretty simple, you can have the chance to access to even harder questions like advanced exercises, right? And it's not done. After advanced exercises, I think we have even harder questions for challenge. So you see, this book can fulfill all the requirements that you need. Okay? All right. And guys, I just showed you 15 topics, but for specific levels, you have some extra topics that you need to prepare with. So like this, spot the difference question. Like which one is totally the same as the example here? This kind of question. You might say this is not math at all. It tests about the power of your observation, something like that. But you have to know the way they test us. So the normal way is like we lose something for some wrong answers. Like this doesn't have the horn, and this one doesn't have one of the eyebrows, and this one doesn't have the icon of the belt, something like that. Okay, the wrong answers always tend to lose something. So for P1 and P2, maybe there are questions like this. Okay, you see the previous questions like this. You can compare the shadow problem and even a 3D figure problem. And for P2 and P3, this is another type of question you need to care about, which is called pictogram. This question is not hard at all, but often tested, especially in SASMO. So you gotta prepare for this. Especially need to understand what does each figure stand for. Okay? And I'm gonna move on to previous questions like this. You see all about the pictogram problem, right? And for P3, maybe you need more knowledge stored about arithmetic sequence. You need to know this, okay? How to find the nth term, how to find the sum of terms, you have to know that. And especially, guys, for all grades here for lower primary, you need to prepare more about this matchstick problem. You see, in 2024, all 3 levels cover the basic matchstick problem. Like how many different 2-digit odd numbers can be formed using an odd number of matchsticks? This is the last question, P1. Quite hard, not that easy. So the basic way to do this is you need to know we need to classify these 10 numbers into 2 types, even numbered or odd numbered. So you see that 0 needs 6 matchsticks. 1 needs 2, 2 needs 5, and 3 needs 5, 4 needs 4, 5 needs 5, 6 needs 6, 7 needs 3, 8 needs 7, and 9 needs 6. This is the type, the Euro way we do this. All right, you see? 2, 6, 4, 6, 6, 5 even numbers. 5, 5, 5, 3, 7, 5 odd numbers. So you can just easily classify them into 2 groups. And these 3 questions are all done in this way. Okay? All right, matchstick problem, get a special prepared. And then the challenge part, the most challenging part is about another type of finding pattern. It's like a brainstorm testing. You see, this is the question number 16 from P1 SASMO last year. You, based on the 4 examples, try to find what's the number in this question mark. And give it a check. How can we get this? Like, you see, your child needs to have the ability in finding, oh, this is a 3, 3, 3. They all have 3 ending, and they all start with a 9. So what's the relation between 3 and 9? You check this. Oh, 1 and 3. Easy. It's going to be multiply this number by 3 to get the first digit. So 2 times 3, you get a 6. So if you put the units digit onto the hundredths digit, maybe we're going to put the first digit into the last digit based on some specific operations. So you check this out. 3 became 4. 8 became 9, 3 became 4, 5 became 6. Oh, settled. So just add a 1 to it. So 4 becomes 5. And what happens to the middle number? 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 3 becomes 6. Apparent. It's going to be 1 times 2, which is a 2. So it's going to be 625. Guys, if you are a P1 kid, is it even possible for you guys to get this done? I don't think so. Very high standard. So SASMO, guys, it's not that easy as you think, especially for those who have never been trained for methyl and pH systematically. Yeah, it's not that hard. I mean, it's not that easy. So use the book, okay? You already collected the book. Make full use of it. All right. So I think I finished the most boring part today. I know if you're a parent listening, you don't want to listen to this part, right? Because this is kind of just some math stuff. So let's see what can we prepare for you guys, right? So this is the Think Academy preparation plans for throughout the March. Okay, so this is for P1, and yeah, you can just sign up for we have a mock test. So the most effective way to prepare for this kind of specific math competition before that would just be taking part in more mock tests. All right. So for like P1, we have today is 13th already. We already did SASMO mock test on 11th. So no worries. We're gonna have a SMKC mock test on 14th, and it's gonna be a whole bunch of 4 lessons about the spring class from 18th to 21st, but only the students who took part in our previous mock tests and got at least a silver will be invited to this class because it's called gold medal sprint. Okay, gold medal sprint. So you must have a good basis first. And then you will have more SMKC mock tests and more SASMO tests. So actually, the moves for P1, P2, P3, they're all the same. All right, not all the same, but quite similar. So you can try to scan the QR code to contact to the specific BD partner and the responsible teacher. We'll get into the registration of the mock tests and spring class. All right, so this is for P2 and this is for P3. Pretty similar. All right, and we're gonna have some. In summer, we're gonna have 2 more online mock tests and 1 more offline mock test. So if you want to experience how do we just like shade in the answer sheet, just try to contact us. All right. Okay, so this is all the plans for SASMO, and this 11th mock test is done. So we have 2 more online mock tests, and we have 1 more overall in-person mock test. So you just assume that if you are not an LTC student, you will have 3 more opportunities to have a try about SASMO. All right. And for SMKC, we still have it, but I didn't explain too much about SMKC today because SMKC is totally a different type, a vibe compared to SASMO. All right. So if you are looking forward to SMKC, you can take a screenshot or whatever. All right. So I'm gonna do a little summary. How do we prepare for that? You take this book as all-in-one guide and you try not too many past year papers. I think the 2024 ones will do. It will be enough. And you try to do more mock exams and you just do some more limited time practice under 1.5 hours. And you work on your weak areas, just try to find all the mistakes they have made, and you don't have to work on more new questions at the end of the time that we're really close to the real exam, right? So our purpose is try our best to prepare for the goal. Okay, so I think that's it about all things I want to explain. It's about 45 minutes. So if you have any questions, specific questions to ask, feel free to type it in the chat box, okay? I'll be waiting here for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Anything? If you have not any other questions, just like feel free to shut down the window. And good night. Okay. I saw a gold medal sign. I think it's one of my students, right? Is that Ethan? Yeah. You show me a gold medal, that means you're gonna bring back a gold medal to me after SASMO. Yeah, today's content is quite, I would say, quite informative for the newcomers. It's gonna be like a bomb that I just put tons of information inside of this session. We don't have too many contests, especially about math in lower primary. So if there is one, so why not give it a try if your kid is keen on math competitions. What is the index number they need to fill up on the answer sheet? Okay, so if you have already registered to SASMO, they're gonna tell you exact the date and the location of the contest by email within maybe only 3 or 4 days before the real test, and you're gonna see an index number in that email. What is the perfect age to start learning all these? Is there not perfect age for all the kids? There's always a perfect age for your kid. So that's something you gotta judge yourself, right? So every kid is different. Somebody started learning math like maybe at 2 years old, but somebody hates math for his or her all life. That's totally different. We need to give it an assessment, a diagnosis to test his or her math potential first, and then we can make up the conclusion. How to prepare? You are really, I'm not sure you are a kid or a parent. So if you are a parent right here, I said how to prepare for this specific math competition. Just use this guide. Just use this all-in-one guidebook. Okay. Like we have 15 topics. So we're gonna have a term break between term 1 and term 2 recently, right? In the future. So you really want to take part in this SASMO, use this book. Let's go through the topics. Okay, so I think no more further questions. How about we call it a day? All right. So if you have any further question related to SASMO, related to Math Olympiad learning, feel free to reach to us, no matter in the WhatsApp group or any other channels. All right. That's it. See you later. Bye-bye.